Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Peculiar Stars Lifestyle Network. Today let's talk about another important topic, normalize setting boundaries. In this episode, I will talk about the importance of establishing and maintaining healthy limits and how doing so can lead to more harmonious connections. So let's get started. You see, boundaries are limits we set to protect our time, to protect our energy and space from being taken advantage of, the limits that helps us say yes to ourselves and no to others when necessary. So it all starts with learning to say no when somebody assumes right of entitlement over you or your stuff. For instance, if you have a flatmate or maybe you have a roommate in school who borrows your stuff without giving it back or doesn't replace any of what they use of yours, when it runs out, then it comes down to a few things. Can you afford to sustain this? And even if you can, do you want to? So if you let it continue, it will escalate. I mean, it might start with a small thing missing from your fridge or from your stores, but it could end up with them eating all of your food. So there is nothing rude about saying no to people who overstep the mark, and it's easy to tell where the situation would go if you let it. So setting boundaries help protect you from people who might overstep, take your resources, or control your life if you don't set limits. I wouldn't bother you with a lot of talks because I know you know most of these things already. It's more of a matter of installing boundaries as you go with each people you interact with. Most people don't need basic things pointing out, like reminding them this is my stuff, this is your stuff, don't touch what you don't own, because most people won't walk into your house and assume or act like they think otherwise. But for those who don't get that, sometimes it just needs spelling out. Please, will you not touch that? And no, you can't come into my room without asking. Or if you are visiting or planning on visiting, text first and wait for a response before just turning up. I think a lot of people genuinely don't like saying things that sound or could sound rude or mean just because they are nice people, but you can still be a nice person and say no. And sometimes it might not be what somebody wants to hear, but then you could look at that as a test. In as far as decent people understand that everyone has boundaries and has the right to exercise the ability to say no. So people who focus on doing bad things, only thinking of themselves and being selfish, don't like it, and you can tell by how they respond when you say it. So it is really about identifying what makes you feel comfortable and what doesn't. In all areas of your life, it's not just about your home, but also about your personal space, your relationships, work, and so on. So think of it like this: when you are in a situation that feels overwhelming or stressful, it's like your personal space is under attack. You might feel like you are losing control and you don't know how to make it stop. This could be a toxic friend who always drains your energy, a family member who constantly criticizes you or make you feel bad about yourself. So setting boundaries is about recognizing when you have had enough and taking steps to protect yourself. It's about learning to say no or enough in a clear and assertive way without feeling guilty or anxious. When you set boundaries, you are taking control of your life and you are taking control of your relationships. You are saying this is what I'm comfortable with and this is what I'm not. It's a powerful way to prioritize your own needs and well-being. Share with us in the comments. Let's learn from your own strategies. How do you communicate your boundaries and ensure they are respected? Personally, I feel like to be able to achieve this, ask, tell, and enforce. These three processes can help you to achieve this. To ask, I mean that you can politely request what you want using phrases like, please don't do that, I'm uncomfortable with it, with the tone of respect and understanding. And to tell, I mean, if the behavior continues, you can clearly state your expectations using phrases like, I've asked you before, but you continue. If you don't stop, I will need to end this or that. This shows you mean business and set consequences. And finally, enforce. If ignored, take action, explaining the consequences and reminding them of previous requests. You might want to say something like, I've asked you and told you before, now I'm setting consequences. Remember when I previously asked you to respect my boundaries, I expect you to understand and improve. You see, this step ensures your boundaries are respected. So let me know if you agree with me on this in the comments below. You see, it's easy to overstep boundaries without realizing, because all people have different sets of them, and that's why it's important to be verbal about it so things can be talked about and moved on from. People will like you more if you can learn to say no and feel confident that you are not acting unreasonably by asserting boundaries. People will appreciate you more for them knowing where they stand with you. So I think that's all. You can do this. It might not be easy at first, but it will get easier with practice, and it will make all of your relationships more pleasurable once you get it into your head that you are equally entitled to expressing your emotions as anyone else, and they should be listened to, not ignored. So that's all for today's episode on setting boundaries. To continue growing and learning together, please like this video, comment, share with others who may benefit, and subscribe for more content. Thank you again for watching, and see you on the next episode.